is potentially a career-defining vote for a lot of these members, many of whom are in districts that Joe Biden won in 2020 and are sort of on the bubble. And if the Democrats certainly are already hoping to use this vote to try to win back the House next year.
You mentioned Don Bacon, noting that they vote in alphabetical order and that Don Bacon's name would be very high there. He joked yesterday that he wished his name was Don Zakin instead of Don Bacon. But walk us through what happens in a hypothetical round 2 or round 3 or round 4. How likely is it for Jim Jordan to gain votes or Republicans to start to walk away from him? What have the members said that you've talked to about round 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah, I think, if he loses on the first round, I think it might depend on how badly he loses. Sometimes people see those first few names say no, say something else. And once it goes past those 3 members that he can lose on this vote without Bilirakis there, and he starts having lost the vote, then it becomes more of a free vote against Jordan because he's not immediately going to become speaker. So we'll see sort of how close he gets to that total that he needs. If it's a handful of votes, you can rest assured he's going to keep on trying and meet with those people and see if there's anything they can do. And there's also been a pressure campaign against them. But, people like Mario Diaz-Balart, who does not plan to vote for Jordan, has basically warned people that a pressure campaign would backfire against him. And so, I think there's going to be some calculations made on when you have the next vote, what else the House does in the meantime. There has been an effort by members in both parties to talk about installing Patrick McHenry, the Speaker Pro Tem, the acting Speaker Pro Tem, and voting to give him full Speaker Pro Tem powers, at least for a period of time, which would allow the House to do legislation. Right now it's paralyzed, hasn't done anything in the last couple of weeks, and we have war breaking out in the Middle East, lots of other things going on in the world, and it's just about the speaker fight for now.
We saw, of course, Kevin McCarthy go 15 rounds to win the speakership back in January. If this goes multiple rounds today, and again, that's a hypothetical, but who gets to decide to go one more round and one more round? Is that Jim Jordan, or is that the acting Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry?
It's a good question. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they're just, the Republican conference will just give Jordan the football here and say, where do you want to go? And they'll hold multiple rounds. But the thing is, they can start voting against him if they really don't want him. If his vote total starts dropping, and there are members who have told reporters this week that they've committed to vote for Jordan on the first ballot, but not necessarily future ballots, then you've got, potentially a scenario where his candidacy might not survive for too many days. If we're seeing another vote tonight and that number of holdouts isn't getting smaller but getting larger, then the momentum that he had yesterday when he got a bunch of defense hawks in particular in his corner after talking to them and sort of assuaging their concerns about military spending, well, then you'd have the momentum shifting the other way. And keep in mind, Jordan is coming into this pretty weak, given that only 99 of the House Republicans in that initial secret ballot when he was up against Scalise wanted Jordan. Less than half of the House Republicans, less than a quarter of the House. So, he's not coming into this with a groundswell of a majority of House Republicans thrilled that he might be the next speaker. It's more of a grudging support he's getting. And there's also just been a sort of exhaustion over the fact that this House has no speaker and no ability to do business right now. I've talked to many House Republicans who don't really care about the speakership or Jim Jordan that much. They just want the House to be reopened so they can go back and do the business that they wanted in their committees, bills on the floor, appropriations that have been stalled. We've got a November 17th deadline, and certainly Israel as well. I've talked to members in the Republican conference who are very eager to move Israel legislation, very important to some of their districts, and they can't do that right now.
Steve Dennis covers it all for Bloomberg News. Longtime
Thanks for
congressional
clicking on,
reporter. Always
everybody. We're
appreciate
going to
your
be here
insight,
watching
your
the
observations. Thanks so much.
votes
Thanks,
as they unfold. There is a
And now let's
quorum
continue
call.
watching this quorum call ahead of an expected speaker's vote this afternoon.
We'll be here monitoring throughout the afternoon. This is a procedural vote that's going on. You have to have enough members of the House present in order to conduct business. You have to have what's called a quorum. So they are doing the quorum call to make sure there are enough to continue. There will be, and we'll get round number one of the votes coming up here very soon. Again, if you're just joining us, thanks for clicking on. This is the call to the quorum of the House to make sure there is a majority, enough members to conduct business. About a minute and a half remaining, 1:42 exactly now. And once the quorum call is over, they'll call the House into session and they'll bring the motion to the floor. That's what the next few minutes are going to be. We're watching C-SPAN, so we won't get a lot of commercials. We will get the background noise as you're hearing. It's similar to watching a live stream. Where we've got 375 and 58, so almost everyone has voted. Again, 1 minute approximately to go, and we will begin. Hold on, they're buffering now. Again, thanks for clicking on. We're going to be streaming C-SPAN, and hopefully with limited interruptions. Again, quorum call ongoing, and the only business that will be conducted will be the vote for the Speaker of the House. Not anticipated. Jim Jordan is not anticipated to have the number of votes necessary. So we will find out how that goes and be back in just a moment. Again, if you're just joining us, we are waiting for the House to be called into order. Once the House is called into session, the only business that's going to be conducted will be the vote for the Speaker of the House. We're going to be here throughout the afternoon, so if you're just joining, feel free to come to YouTube and join the chat. And if you're watching on one of the other platforms and you want to take part in the chat, you can only do that primarily on YouTube. But thanks for watching wherever you're at. Spread the word. We're going to be on here streaming the vote for Speaker of the House all afternoon as long as necessary. Okay, we see the call to the quorum coming out of 422. 422 present and 11.
We're nearing the end of the quorum call ahead of an expected vote on Speaker of the House today on Capitol Hill.
Okay, we got a buffer going on. 422 and 11, that's 433 out of 435. So almost everyone in the House is present. 11 not voting at the moment. But you'll see the numbers go up as we get closer to the time to vote. And hopefully this,
of the House,
there we go, the buffering ends. Let's get back to the vote.
And Darrell Issa of California, the Republican, saying, I'm all in for Jim Jordan. Let's take it to the floor. Darrell Issa, of course, could be in line to get the Judiciary Committee gavel if Jim Jordan is, in fact, elected Speaker of the House. Democrat Stephen Horsford outside on the steps of the Capitol with the tweet saying Jim Jordan led the effort to overturn the election and deny the vote of Nevada voters. He does not deserve to be Speaker, saying he'll cast his vote for Hakeem Jeffries. And one more from Nicole Malliotakis of New York, the Republican, with a tongue-in-cheek tweet saying, slow news day at the United States Capitol, Jordan for Speaker. Again, it will take Jim Jordan not losing at this point an expected 3 Republican votes. If he loses more than 3 and Democrats stay together, he won't have the votes to take the gavel. You can watch it all live here on C-SPAN, gavel to gavel.
Okay, pretty good definition of what we're going to be seeing there, gavel to gavel coverage of the potential ascension of Jim Jordan to the role of Speaker of the House. As was pointed out, Jordan was one of the prominent Republicans trying to push President Trump back into office, the former president, and as well as having a sex scandal. So, not an odd choice to say the least. Not someone you might expect the Republicans would want to be their face in the 2024 election coming up, as far as the House of Representatives goes. But we'll see. We'll see if that does indeed impact people's votes. 3 Republicans. The House is held by the Republicans on the slimmest of majorities, and if 3 Republicans decide not to vote for Jordan, he will not get the nomination. He will not get the Speaker post. So a little bit of drama coming up. We're up to 424 present with 9 not voting. So more than enough for a quorum. Just delaying the vote a little bit to give more House members a chance to get to the floor and have their presence acknowledged, so that they are counted in the present category ahead of the vote. Kind of just stalling at the moment. Killing some time waiting on the proceedings to begin. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, pop that down while we got just a little bit of while background noise is going on. Again, 424 being counted as present. 9 of the congressional members are not in the building, or at least not on the floor at the moment, to be counted as present in the quorum vote. This is not uncommon. The House, as far as proceedings, to have a set time when the vote would end, and people still kind of coming in after the fact, and their presence being acknowledged. Once the actual vote counts, you'll see people going in and out. Most House members do not have offices in the Capitol. Their offices are in the Longsworth building, and many of the senators are in the Russell Senate building. So the members of the House, the members of the Senate, go back and forth from their office buildings to the Capitol, where the actual business is conducted. And that's pretty much what we're waiting for right now. We're waiting for the actual call to order. The House will be called to order. It will be gavelled back into session, and I don't think there will be any speeches ahead of the votes. There may be. Again, this is basically either Jim Jordan or no Jim Jordan. There aren't alternatives being put up. Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat that had ran for Speaker of the House, basically this is not about anything other than yes or no on Jim Jordan. And if only 3 Republicans vote no, then there's no way he wins. And some of the Republicans that have said they are going to vote no, their names are at or near the top of the alphabet. The roll call to vote is called in alphabetical order, with the A's, B's, C's, and D's being the first, and followed, all the way to the end, the W's, X's, Y's, and Z's. And all we need are 3 no votes, and they're just, everything else will be, fundamentally mute, because the 3rd no vote means that no speaker. Now, what happens? Well, they continue voting. Deals continue to be made. I'll offer you this chairmanship of this committee if you'll change your vote to vote for me when I'm named speaker. Things like that. It's bribery, it's coercion, and it's commonplace. So again, thanks for clicking on. We are just awaiting the House to be called into session. The quorum call is, as you can see, 427 now to 6. So only 6 people have not acknowledged that they are present and ready to vote. Um, those 6, some of them may be out of the District of Columbia. They may be back in their home district. Some of them may not be feeling well and are excused, and some of them may be delayed for other reasons and just haven't gotten to the floor yet. Um, but they're not necessarily waiting on those 6 people. That's not what's happening. They are. I'm not sure why they haven't proceeded. It's already 12:34, and the first vote was supposed to be taken at noon. So again, but it's not uncommon. Our government operates this way a lot. It's not necessarily a timed entity. They don't have time schedules per se that they are set in concrete. That's not how our government works. And I'll hop back over into the chat here for just a few minutes and see if anybody has any questions or anything. Hello to Stitch. Hello to Pat Tolliver. Hi, Trish. Hi to everybody in the chat. Hi to everybody watching. We're just kind of getting this going and just giving people a place to watch what's happening that don't have, that don't watch regular television. Again, this comes from C-SPAN. We are restreaming C-SPAN. And the quorum has been established. It's obvious 429 to 4. It's almost a unanimous presence, which again is really rare. So thus far, only four people have not came to the floor and acknowledged that they are present and ready to vote. They're not waiting on those 4 people. That we're just at the moment waiting for the Speaker Pro Tem. That is Patrick McHenry, the guy you might remember that was really mad and slammed the gavel down to end the session of the House where Kevin McCarthy was removed from office. The last image was him slamming the gavel down. He's a little guy. He's about 5'4". Wears a bow tie, and you will recognize him more than likely once he does take. It looks like he's back behind the speaker's podium now. He's the temporary Speaker Pro Tem. That just means that he's filling the slot, and unless they make him a permanent pro tem speaker until there's a successful vote, no business can be done. No business can be done without a Speaker of the House. And it's been a couple of weeks now with absolutely nothing coming out, and a lot of important things on the docket. A lot of things that matter to many, many, many people in our country are not being addressed. As you can see, we're at 4:30. People present and ready to vote. 3 no votes so far. 3 people not showing up. And we anticipate again that we will be. This is a really good turnout. It's a really important vote, obviously. Again, I personally think the Republicans could have put someone much better than Jim Jordan up. But then again, a lot of those people just did not want the job. They don't want the headache. They don't want the responsibility. They don't want the all of the burden that comes with being speaker. And here we go. We'll listen to the announcer.
What the next speaker would need to get in order to be able to take the gavel and become the 56th Speaker of the House. The Capitol Hill Press Corps working overtime among those members, those Republican members whose vote is still not quite known, asking those members as they're walking into the chamber. Here's Eric Wasson's tweet, Eric Wasson of Bloomberg News, saying that Republican Congressman Anthony D'Esposito says he's undecided walking into the chamber, says some of Jim Jordan's past votes are concerning. And then a tweet from Nicholas Wu of Politico focusing on Victoria Sparks, Republican from Indiana, Walking onto the House floor, she says she'll vote present on Jordan for Speaker. A vote of present would help lower the threshold needed to take the gavel. And then Chad Pergram of Fox News saying that Nicole Maliotakis, the Republican of New York, was asked how long it will take to elect a speaker. She said, I would simply say that it would be somewhere between the 15 rounds that McCarthy went and the 5 rounds that Pope Francis got in order to be elected Pope. That's her over-under. I think it's going to be more than 1 round. Gavel-to-gavel coverage of all the rounds, if they go more than 1, are here on C-SPAN. You can watch live with us.
And again, chances are there will be more than 1 round. I do not anticipate, personally, I don't anticipate Jordan getting enough votes to be elected Speaker on the first ballot. How long will it go? Well, that's going to be up to the Republican caucus, how far they want to take this. It'll also, an indication is going to be how many votes, if I'm correct and he does not win in the first round, how many more votes would he need? Is it even feasible to make enough deals to get him over the top? There are going to be a lot of things that are kind of unveiled once this first round of voting starts, and we're hoping it starts soon. I'm hoping it starts soon. This could be a very lengthy process. This could go on and on and on. As you know, Kevin McCarthy, it took 25 rounds before he was finally named Speaker, and a number of deals. Could we see something like that? I really don't think so. Jim Jordan just is not that. He's just not that popular amongst the Republicans. Again, I'm finding it hard to believe that they put him up there. 431 present, 2 people not there yet out of the 435. Now we're at 432. 1 person. Is it Lauren Boebert? Is she missing? Who knows? Well, somebody knows. The Secretary of the Congress knows who hasn't shown up yet. Again, normally 435. There are only 433. 2 members are back in their districts, and it seems like we're getting ready to gavel in session here. So let's go to C-SPAN.
If not, on this roll call, 432 members have recorded their presence. The next order of business is the election of speakers of the House of Representatives for the 118th Congress. Nominations are now in order. The chair now recognizes the gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Stefanik.
Mr. Speaker Pro Temp, Madam Clerk, colleagues, on behalf of the House Republican Conference, I rise today to nominate the gentleman from Ohio, Jim Jordan, as Speaker of the People's House. We are at a time of great crisis across America, a time of historic challenges in this very chamber, and a time when heinous acts of terror and evil have been committed against our great ally, Israel. As this body convenes for the sacred responsibility to elect the next Speaker of the People's House, I am reminded of the Book of Esther. For such a time is this. Jim Jordan will be America's Speaker for such a time as this. A time when hardworking American families are struggling under the vice of inflation, not able to afford groceries, heat, or gas because of the trillions and trillions of dollars of reckless spending by failed far-left government. A time when millions are being illegally trafficked and smuggled across our southern and northern borders due to the catastrophic and inhumane wide-open borders of Joe Biden. A time when violent crime is skyrocketing across America, destroying our great cities, suburbs, and small towns, where people no longer feel safe in their homes or in their communities. A time when American energy production has been crushed by Joe Biden's radical, failed far-left policies, causing seniors, farmers, and families to pay more at the pump and struggle with skyrocketing utility bills. A time when the federal government is weaponized against we the people, who they are supposed to serve, stripping us of our God-given constitutional rights and wrongfully targeting conservatives, Catholics, and even parents at school board meetings. And a time when the people of our closest and most precious ally, Israel, suffered the bloodiest day since the Holocaust, with acts of inhumane evil committed by Hamas terrorists backed by Iran, grotesque atrocities, the beheadings of babies, rapes, kidnappings, and slaughter of women, children, and the elderly, and Israelis and Americans taken hostage. We are here in this very chamber for such a time as this. Jim Jordan will be we too long. Whether as Judiciary Chair, Conservative leader, or representative for his constituents in West Central Ohio, whether on the wrestling mat or in the committee room, Jim Jordan is strategic, scrappy, tough, and principled. He is a mentor, a worker, and above all, he is a fighter. And the American people know, we know, that Jim Jordan is a winner on behalf of the American people. Almost 10 years ago, many of us sat with our colleague Jim Jordan in this very chamber when Prime Minister Netanyahu delivered his historic joint address, which some of our colleagues across the aisle shamefully boycotted. Bibi pointed out that in this very chamber, we serve under the watchful gaze of Moses. He said, quote, "Overlooking all of us in this chamber is the image of Moses. And before the people of Israel entered the land of Israel, Moses gave us a message that has steeled our resolve for thousands of years. Be strong and resolute, neither fear nor dread them." He went on to say, "My friends, may Israel and America always stand together, strong and resolute. May we neither fear nor dread the challenges ahead. May we face the future with confidence, strength, and hope." End quote. On behalf of the American people, let's face the future with confidence, strength, and hope. Let's elect Jim Jordan, our Speaker of the People's House, for such a time as this. And I yield back.
Well, there were several statements that could be questioned, but we'll save that for another time.
Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, with great respect for this institution, as chairman of the Democratic Caucus, I am directed by the vote of that caucus to present for election to the office of the Speaker of the House of Representatives the name of the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, the pride of Crown Heights, a representative from the state of New York. Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, this is not the history we wanted to make here in the House. It's something that none of us imagined when we were sworn in to this office. We are here because the House has been thrown into chaos. We are here because this hallowed chamber has been led to a breaking point by two dangerous forces: extremism and partisanship. The American people place their faith in us to tackle their most pressing issues: lowering costs, growing the middle class, and standing up to those set on delivering a national abortion ban. The choice before us is simple: come together on a bipartisan path forward or take us over the cliff. Abandon the extremism that is preventing us from getting things done, or triple down on division and dysfunction. A vote today to make the architect of a nationwide abortion ban a vocal election denier and an insurrection insider to the Speaker of this House would be a terrible message to the country and our allies. Mr. Speaker, it would send an even more troubling message to our enemies that the very people who would seek to undermine democracy are rewarded with positions of immense power. We are talking about someone who has spent his entire career trying to hold our country back, putting our national security in danger, attempting government shutdown after government shutdown, wasting taxpayer dollars on baseless investigations with dead ends, authoring the very bill that would ban abortion nationwide without exceptions, and inciting violence on this chamber. Even leaders of his own party have called him a legislative terrorist. He once said, quote, "I didn't come to Congress to make more laws." His words speak for themselves. When New Yorkers recovering from Hurricane Sandy needed Congress to act, he said no. When wildfires ravaged the West, destroying homes and businesses, and those residents needed disaster assistance, he said no. When the Mississippi River floods devastated the South and communities across state lines needed Congress to act, he said no. When our veterans were suffering from disease and dying as a result of their service to our country, and Congress passed a bipartisan solution, he said no. When our ally in Ukraine looked to Congress for additional support to help defeat Putin, he said no. And just before Hamas's brutal terrorist attack on Israel, he said no to fully funding military aid for our ally. This body is debating elevating a speaker nominee who has not passed a single bill in 16 years. These are not the actions of someone interested in governing or bettering the lives of everyday Americans. This is nothing less than the rejection of the oath that we swore to uphold as duly elected members of this body. But on this side of the aisle and throughout this chamber, I'm convinced our oath still matters. To fulfill our obligations to the American people, we have no choice today but to vote for a leader of both character and conviction. When the Congress first began, we proudly stood next to him as our leader and made a promise to every American. House Democrats would work to find common ground on the issues that matter most to the American people whenever possible. That we would stand up to extremism whenever necessary. Only Hakeem Jeffries can be trusted to keep his word. Only Hakeem Jeffries can lead us out of the chaos and towards a path of governance. It brings me immense pride to nominate our friend, the Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries, as Speaker. I'm not done yet. He may just be the candidate with the most votes, but he is also the candidate with the most credibility. If the goal is to continue a 30-year march to hollow out our democratic institutions, weaken our democracy, and embolden extremists, there's a candidate for you. If the goal is to continue taking marching orders from a twice-impeached former president with more than 90 pending felony charges, then there is a candidate for you. The world is watching, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Our allies in Ukraine and Israel are watching and waiting. So let's have this vote. But let's be clear. A vote for the gentleman from Ohio is a vote to turn your back on national security. It's a vote to turn your back on a bipartisan path to fund the government and avoid shutdowns, something we can only do if we reject his nomination. House Democrats are in the minority. We realize that. If House Republicans wanted to elect a speaker without us, then they could have. There is still a path forward for both Democrats and Republicans to come together to elect a speaker who can unite us behind a common purpose, keeping the government open on a bipartisan compromise that won more than 300 votes just 4 months ago in this chamber, taking up an up or down vote on help so Israel can defeat Hamas and Ukraine can defeat Putin, and reassuring the American people that their legislators have their backs. It's that simple, Mr. Speaker, and we can do it today. Let's work together. Let's elect a speaker who will reach out a hand of bipartisanship and deliver for the American people. That is why, once again, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, I'm proud to nominate Hakeem Jeffries for Speaker and yield back.
So you see, based on the numbers, it's not a vote between the two of them. It's just a vote of yes or no on Jim Jordan, basically, because Democrats don't have enough. It would take a significant Republican presence to cross the aisle.
The names of the Honorable Jim Jordan, a representative from the state of Ohio, and the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, a representative from the state of New York, have been placed in nomination. Are there further nominations? There being no further nominations, the chair appoints the following tellers. The gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Stile. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Morelli. The gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Loudermilk. The gentlewoman from Alabama, Ms. Sewell. The tellers will come forward and take their seats at the desk in front of the Speaker's rostrum.
Again, this is all procedural, all normal. The tellers are basically going to be part of the vote tally. Again, this is just a way to make certain that there's no nefarious activity when votes are taken. Nobody said Trump, Missy Pop. No, Trump's name was not put into nomination at this time. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. There are those in the Republican caucus that have said they are going to vote for Jim Jordan on this first ballot, but on this first ballot only. They haven't guaranteed that they're going to stick with Jordan. That's one of the reasons we're going to cover this entire thing, because this could get very interesting. There is underground talk of putting Trump's name up. Because you do not have to be a member of the House to be the Speaker of the House. That is something I imagine a loophole that will be closed as soon as possible by one side or the other. And again, we are just kind of You're welcome, Missy. Yeah, so his name still could come up, which again would be incredibly bizarre, but it's 2023 and bizarre has become more of the norm, and things that would normally seem normal sometimes now are bizarre. So I mean, gosh, just some of the things that have happened in the past week alone are just bizarre. And if you're new to the show, thank you for clicking on. If you're new to the channel, thanks for clicking on. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the past couple of weeks, Chris has been joining the show. We've been talking about the situation of the world, the situation in the Mideast. He was on last night. If you missed the show, please go back and check that. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, normally Chris and I would be on. Chris is going to be traveling tomorrow night, so if something does kick off, I'll be on by myself tomorrow night, and then we'll get Chris on Thursday. If nothing happens, and things may not happen over in the middle, I'm talking Middle East primarily. Secretary of State Blinken over there now. President of the United States Joe Biden over there tomorrow and Thursday. Putin is in China visiting with Xi, the president of China. Um, we've got military assets placed all around the
House come to
world,
order.
and the House has been gavelled back to order, so we will go back to CNN. Here we go.
The roll will now be called, and those responding to their names will indicate by surname the nominee of their choosing. The reading clerk will now call the roll.
Adams. Jeffries. Adderholt. Jordan. Aguilar. Jeffries. Alford. Jordan. Allen. Jordan. Allred. Jeffries. Amodei. Jordan. Armstrong. Jordan. Arrington. Jordan. Auchincloss. Jeffries. Babin. Jordan. Bacon. McCarthy.
Okay, so
Baird.
there's one of those no votes right there. Gordon
Jordan.
McCarthy. Look for those no
Balderson.
or other.
Jordan.
Voting present or other from
Ballant.
Republicans.
Jeffries. Banks. Jordan. Barr. Jordan. Barragan. Jeffries. Bean of Florida. Jordan. Beatty. Jeffries. Bentz. Jordan. Barra. Jeffries. Bergman. Jordan. Beyer. Jeffries. Bice. Jordan. Biggs. Jordan. Bilirakis. Bilirakis. Bishop of Georgia. Jeffries. Bishop of North Carolina. Jordan. Blumenauer. Jeffries. Blunt Rochester. Jeffries. Boebert. Jordan. Bonamici. Jeffries. Bast. Jordan. Bowman. Jeffries. Boyle of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Burkeen. Jordan. Brown. Jeffries. Brownlee. Jeffries. Buchanan. Jordan. Buck. Buck. Bouchon. Jordan. Budzinski. Jeffries. Burchett. Jordan. Burgess. Jordan. Burleson. Jordan. Bush. Jeffries. Calvert. Jordan. Kamek. Jordan. Caraveo. Jeffries. Carbajal. Jeffries. Cardenas. Cardenas. Carey. Jordan. Carl. Jordan. Carson. Jeffries. Carter of Georgia. Jordan. Carter of Louisiana. Jeffries. Carter of Texas. Jordan. Cartwright. Jeffries. Kassar. Jeffries. Case. Jeffries. Caston. Jeffries. Castor of Florida. Jeffries. Castro of Texas. Jeffries. Chavez DeRemer. McCarthy.
Okay, the vote for McCarthy, again, that is the equivalent of a no vote. So there are
Phyllis
two. They'll only
McCormick.
take three, and he cannot, and
Jeffries.
Jordan can't win.
Chu. Jeffries. Siscomani. Jordan. Clark of Massachusetts. Jeffries. Clark of New York. Jeffries. Cleaver. Jeffries. Klein. Jordan. Cloud. Jordan. Clyburn. Jeffries. Clyde. Jordan. Cohen. Jeffries. Cole. Jordan. Collins. Jordan. Comer. Jordan. Connolly. Jeffries. Correa. Jeffries. Costa. Jeffries. Courtney. Jeffries. Craig. Jeffries. Crane. Jordan. Crawford. Jordan. Crenshaw. Jordan. Crockett. Jeffries. Crow. Jeffries. Cuellar. Jeffries. Curtis. Jordan. Davids of Kansas. Jeffries. Davidson. Jordan. Davis of Illinois. Jeffries. Davis of North Carolina. Jeffries. Dean of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. DeGette. Jeffries. De la Cruz. Jordan. DeLauro. Jeffries. Delbene. Jeffries. DeLuzio. Jeffries. DeSaulnier. Jeffries. Desjardins. Jordan. D'Esposito. Zelton. Diaz-Balart. Scalise. Dingle. Jeffries. Doggett. Jeffries. Donalds. Jordan. Duarte. Jordan. Duncan. Jordan. Dunn of Florida. Jordan. Edwards. Jordan. Elsie. Garcia. Emmer.
So we are
Jordan.
111
Escobar.
votes in. There have been 5
Jeffries.
no votes for Jordan.
Eshu.
He will not be the Speaker of the
Jeffries.
House
Espaillat.
on this ballot. We'll see where we go from
Jeffries.
here. Now it's just
Estes.
basically procedural to find out what
Jordan.
the final vote will be.
Evans. Jeffries. Ezel. Jordan. Fallon. Jordan. Feenstra. Jordan. Ferguson. Jordan. Finstad. Jordan. Fishbach. Jordan. Fitzgerald. Jordan. Fitzpatrick. Jordan. Fleischman. Jordan. Fletcher. Jeffries. Flood. Jordan. Foster. Jeffries. Fushi. Jeffries. Fox. Jordan. Lois Frankel. Jeffries. Scott Franklin. Jordan. Frost. Jeffries. Fry. Jordan. Fulcher. Jordan. Gates. Jordan. Gallagher. Jordan. Gallego. Jeffries. Garamendi. Jeffries. Garbarino. Zeldin. Mike Garcia. Jordan. Robert Garcia. Jeffries. Garcia of Illinois. Jeffries. Garcia of Texas. Jeffries. Jimenez. McCarthy. Golden of Maine. Jeffries. Goldman of New York. Jeffries. Gomez. Jeffries. Tony Gonzalez. Scalise. Vicente Gonzalez. Jeffries. Good of Virginia. Jordan. Gooden of Texas, Jordan. Gosar, Jordan. Gottheimer, Jeffries. Granger,
There were those in the Republican Party that did not want
Granger.
McCarthy removed and still want him to be Speaker.
Scalise,
There's just not a big enough majority to make that happen. That's why it's a form of a protest vote to vote for McCarthy over Jordan.
Graves of Louisiana,
It's just a no vote,
Jordan.
as the Scalise
Graves of
vote
Missouri.
was.
Jordan.
And again,
Green of Tennessee,
how
Jordan.
big the others,
Green of Texas,
how big the others number is, will become significant at the end of this vote.
Jeffries. Green of Georgia, Jordan. Griffith, Jordan. Grijalva, Jeffries. Grothman, Jordan. Guest, Jordan. Guthrie, Jordan. Hageman, Jordan. Harder of California, Jeffries. Harris, Jordan. Harshbarger, Jordan. Hayes, Jeffries. Hearn, Jordan. Higgins of Louisiana, Jordan. Higgins of New York, Jeffries. Hill, Jordan. Himes, Jeffries. Henson, Jordan. Horsford, Jeffries. Houchin, Jordan. Houlihan, Jeffries. Hoyer, Jeffries. Hoyle of Oregon, Jeffries. Hudson, Jordan. Huffman, Jeffries. Huizinga, Jordan. Hunt, Jordan. Issa, Jordan. Ivy, Jeffries. Jackson of Illinois, Jeffries. Jackson of North Carolina, Jeffries. Jackson of Texas, Jordan. Jackson Lee, Jeffries. Jacobs, Jeffries. James, James. Jayapal, Jeffries. Jeffries, Jeffries. Johnson of Georgia, Jeffries. Johnson of Louisiana, Jordan. Johnson of Ohio, Jordan. Johnson of South Dakota, Jordan. Jordan, Jordan. Joyce of Ohio, Joyce of Ohio. Joyce of Pennsylvania. Jordan. Cam Lager-Dove. Jeffries. Captor. Jeffries. Kane of New Jersey. Jordan. Keating. Jeffries. Kelly of Illinois. Jeffries. Kelly of Mississippi. Jordan. Kelly of Pennsylvania. The Honorable Steve Scalise. Kana. Jeffries. Kiggins of Virginia. McCarthy. Kildee. Jeffries. Kiley. Jordan. Kilmer. Jeffries. Kim of California. Jordan. Kim of New Jersey. Jeffries. Krishnamurthy. Jeffries. Custer. Jeffries. Kustoff. Jordan. LaHood.
Hi, Shelley G. Thanks for joining. Jordan is, he does not have the votes to be named speaker in the first ballot. It's just a matter of how many he's going to be short, how many Jeffries is going to be short, and who else they put up.
LaMalfa. LaMalfa. Lamborn. Jordan. Landsman. Jeffries. Langworthy. Jordan. Larson of Washington. Jeffries. Larson of Connecticut. Jeffries. Latta. Jordan. LaTurner. Jordan. Lawler. Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Lee of California. Jeffries. Lee of Florida. Jordan. Lee of Nevada. Jeffries. Lee of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Ledger Fernandez. Jeffries. Lesko. Jordan. Letlow. Jordan. Levin. Jeffries. Liu. Jeffries. Lofgren. Jeffries. Loudermilk. Jordan. Lucas. Jordan. Lutkemeyer. Jordan. Luna. Jordan. Luttrell. Jordan. Lynch. Jeffries. Mace.
Jordan. Missy, yes.
Magaziner.
Those voting other want
Jeffries.
deals. That's a blanket statement. Not all of them are going to want
Jordan.
deals, but yes, deals are going to be
Mann.
offered
Jordan.
specifically to
Manning.
deals are going to be
Jeffries.
offered specifically to
Massey. Jordan.
those others, those 13,
Mast.
possibly seats
Jordan.
on relevant committees,
Matsui.
legislation they want brought
Jeffries.
forward,
McBath.
guarantee that that'll be brought forward, all kinds of deals to be made.
Jeffries. McCarthy.
And it's a
Jordan.
significant number. It's up to 13 now. So McCarthy just voted for Jordan, which is what the applause is
McCall.
about. So while
Jordan.
McCarthy is the former speaker removed
McLean.
with Jordan's help,
Jordan. McClellan.
McCarthy stood the party
Jeffries.
line and voted for
McClintock.
Jordan.
Jordan. McCullum.
Negotiations are already
Jeffries.
underway trying to get those others into the Republican column.
McCormick.
I don't know if they will do that
Jordan.
behind Jordan. Many have
McGarvey.
claimed that they won't. So we'll just have to
Jeffries.
watch and see what happens.
McGovern. Jeffries. McHenry. Jordan. Meeks. Jeffries. Menendez. Jeffries. Mang. Jeffries. Muser. Jordan. Mfume. Jeffries. Miller of Illinois. Jordan. Miller of Ohio. Jordan. Miller of West Virginia. Jordan. Miller Meeks. Jordan. Mills. Jordan. Molinaro. Jordan. Molinar. Jordan. Mooney. Jordan. Moore of Alabama. Jordan. Moore of Utah. Jordan. Moore of Wisconsin. Jeffries. Moran. Jordan. Morelli. Jeffries. Moskowitz. Jeffries. Moulton. Jeffries. Moran. Jeffries. Mullen. Jeffries. Murphy. Jordan. Nadler. Jeffries. Napolitano. Jeffries. Neal. Jeffries. Nagoose. Jeffries. Nails. Jordan. Newhouse. Jordan. Nickel. Jeffries. Norcross. Jeffries. Norman. Jordan. None of Iowa. Jordan. Obernolte. Jordan. Ocasio-Cortez. Jeffries. Ogles. Jordan. Omar. Omar. Jeffries. Owens. Jordan. Pallone. Jeffries. Palmer. Jordan. Panetta. Jeffries. Pappas. Jeffries. Pasquale. Jeffries. Payne. Jeffries.
Can't do anything about the buffering. My apologies for that. So I'm not exactly sure why the whole house is standing, unless it was
Pence. Jordan. Perez. Jeffries.
Greg Pence,
Perry.
Congressman from Indiana. Mike Pence's
Jordan.
brother just voted for
Peters.
Jordan, as expected.
Jeffries. Pedersen. Jeffries.
Here we go. Hopefully no more
Fluger.
buffering.
Jordan. Phillips. Jeffries. Pingree. Jeffries. Pocan. Jeffries. Porter. Jeffries. Posey. Jordan. Presley. Jeffries. Quigley. Jeffries. Ramirez. Jeffries. Raskin. Jeffries.
So we're about 3/4 of the way
Reschenthaler.
through the vote, and
Jordan.
you can see how
Rogers
important
of
those
Washington.
13 others would
Jordan.
be to Jim Jordan.
Rogers of
With the
Alabama.
current vote at 158, 154.
Jordan. Rogers of Kentucky. Jordan. Rose. Jordan. Rosendale. Jordan. Ross.
Yeah, I imagine what we missed was the
Jeffries.
acknowledgement of Nancy Pelosi casting
Rouser.
her vote as former
Jordan.
Speaker of the House.
Roy. Jordan. Ruiz. Jeffries. Rupersberger. Jeffries.
A lot of
Rutherford.
coughing going on in the Congress. Hope nobody has the
Scalise.
you know what I'm talking about.
Ryan. Jeffries. Salazar. Jordan. Salinas. Jeffries. Sanchez. Jeffries. Santos. Jordan. Sarbanes. Jeffries. Scalise. Jordan.
So Matt Gaetz, Lorraine Boebert, and George Santos are all three sitting back there together, kind of separated from the others. I
Scanlon.
don't know if you noticed that or not when
Jeffries.
George Santos got up to vote.
Schakowsky. Jeffries. Schiff. Jeffries. Schneider. Jeffries.
The clapping was
Stolten.
for Scalise, who
Jeffries.
had more votes than Jordan,
Schreier.
but decided not to take it to
Jeffries.
the floor. Jordan decided to
Schweikert.
take it to the floor and get embarrassed,
Jordan.
which is what's happening. But Scalise
Austin Scott.
also stood the party line and voted for Jordan.
Jordan. David Scott. Jeffries. Scott of Virginia. Jeffries. Self. Jordan. Sessions. Jordan. Sewell. Jeffries.
This gives you an idea of how
Sherman.
even the House is divided and what a
Jeffries.
small Republican
Sherrill.
majority they have and why it's so hard to get
Jeffries.
anything through.
Simpson. Scalise. Slotkin. Jeffries. Smith of Missouri. Jordan. Smith of Nebraska. Jordan.
Yeah, the Rona's still
Smith of New
around.
Jersey.
It didn't disappear.
Jordan.
The Rona is still out there.
Smith of Washington. Jeffries. Smucker.
As are a lot of things.
Jordan. Sorensen. Jeffries.
179,
Soto.
171.
Jeffries. Spanberger.
Yeah,
Jeffries.
Jordan is not only not going to get
Sparks.
enough to win, he's going to lose to Jeffries.
Sparks.
Sparks is from Indiana, from my
Stansbury.
district, actually.
Jeffries.
And Sparks did not vote.
Stanton. Jeffries. Stauber. Jordan.
So possibly Sparks, one
Steele.
of the two not in quorum.
Jordan. Stefanik. Jordan. Style. Jordan. Stubbe. Jordan. Stevens. Jeffries. Strickland. Jeffries. Strong. Jordan. Swalwell. Jeffries. Sykes. Jeffries. Takano. Jeffries. Tenney. Jordan. Tanadar. Jeffries. Thompson of California. Jeffries. Thompson of Mississippi. Jeffries. Thompson of Pennsylvania. Jordan. Tiffany. Jordan. Timmons. Jordan. Titus. Jeffries. Talib. Jeffries. Takuda. Jeffries. Tonko. Jeffries. Torres of California. Jeffries. Torres of New York. Jeffries. Trahan. Jeffries. Trone. Jeffries. Turner. Jordan. Underwood. Jeffries. Valadeo. Jordan. Van Drew. Jordan. Van Dyne. Jordan. Van Orden. Jordan. Vargas. Jeffries. Vasquez. Jeffries. VC. Jeffries. Velasquez. Jeffries. Wagner. Jordan. Wahlberg. Jordan. Waltz. Jordan. Wasserman Schultz. Jeffries. Waters. Jeffries.
Okay, you can see we're
Watson
at
Kellerman.
Jeffries 206,
Jeffries.
15 other, now
Weber of
207.
Texas.
So while Jordan may be trying
Jordan.
to also,
Webster of Florida.
Jordan may be trying to get the others
Jordan.
to vote with him.
Winstrup. Jordan.
The Democrats only need
Westerman.
10 or 12 of those
Jordan.
Republicans to come to their
Weston.
side, and Jeffries is the speaker. So
Jeffries.
another thing that we'll keep an eye on.
Wild.
We'll definitely go to a second vote, and I don't see a whole lot of movement coming from a
Jeffries.
second vote. So
Williams of Georgia.
we'll be here as long as it takes.
Jeffries.
Hello to Nancy McMonarch.
Williams
Feels
of
like
New
I'm
York.
watching a sequel to the stupidest movie
Jordan.
ever.
Williams of Texas.
Yeah, we did this not long ago,
Jordan.
removing McCarthy, and then before that,
Wilson of Florida.
25 votes in order to get McCarthy in.
Jeffries. Wilson of South Carolina. Jordan.
Are we in for another one of those marathon kind
Whitney.
of sessions today? We'll find out.
Jordan. Womack. Scalise. Yakum. Jordan. Zinke. Jordan.
Switch pens, hang on. All right, so I have 199 to
Okay, so as I said about halfway through, not only is Jordan not going to get elected, he's going to lose to Jeffries. And now you see 211 to 199. This is possibly a little worse than they anticipated. The Democrats only need to get 5 Republicans to come over to their side and vote for Jeffries, and Jeffries will be Speaker of the House. So a lot of wheeling and dealing going to be going on over the next few minutes here.
The House will come to order. The reading clerk will now call the names of the members who did not answer the first call of the roll.
Bilirakis. Bilirakis. Buck.
Okay, on the
Emmer.
all right, these are votes that are being counted that weren't cast originally. All right, now from the Republican side, what are the
Cardenas.
what are the Republicans going to have to give
Jeffries.
up in order to get Jordan in as Speaker? The Republican base, a lot of things that they are
James.
passionate about are going to be pushed to the
Cole.
wayside in order to get Jordan in when they already had McCarthy in, and basically Matt Gaetz, primarily for his own entertainment,
Joyce of Ohio.
decided to have
Jordan.
McCarthy removed. So now here's where we're at: 200 to 212. Again, five
LaMalfa.
of those 18 switch over to Jeffries, and Jeffries is the Speaker, and the government all of a sudden starts moving really quickly because there wouldn't be obstruction in the House. The Senate is controlled by a very slim majority by Democrats, and you'd see a lot of things go through. Not necessarily what
Sparks.
Republicans wanted, but that's
Massey.
going to be something that comes out of all this. What does Jordan have to compromise on in order to get 17 out of 20 on his side? what does Jeffries offer to get 5 out of 20 on his side?
All right, so we have
Could be very interesting.
200.
We'll also find out now if
640,
if there are going to be other candidates, if there are going to be other candidates presented for the second vote. There will be at least 2 votes. Jordan is not a serious person. This will hurt them in upcoming elections either way. Totally agree with that, Max Flower. As I've said multiple times, I can't believe Jordan is who they put up to be the face of the Congress, but that's what they've done, and an embarrassment, a total embarrassment. Not only did Jordan not get named speaker, but he lost to Jeffries, and puts those 20, the 20 that voted other, puts them in an incredibly powerful position. They basically get to choose the next speaker now. If those 20 go with Jordan, Jordan's the speaker. If 5 of those 20 go with Jeffries, Jeffries the speaker. That's very, very unlikely to happen for 5 members of the House to cross party lines, especially in such a vote as Speaker of the House. It's called cutting off your nose to spite your face. That's a great definition, Lori Arnold. That's what Republicans did. There's Kevin McCarthy in the screen. They just changed shots, but that was McCarthy. They voted him out 2 weeks ago, with the help of the Democrats, and basically kind of threw the Republican House into chaos, where it obviously continues to dwell. Missy Pop says somebody's watching closely. They are so afraid. This could tip power. It really could. There are a lot of people watching closely, and there are a lot of people that are potentially concerned about the impact of how this all plays out. Jordan would have to scrap some of the loonier policies to lure in reps from the purple states, and that's contingent on their believing his promises. Both of those are true, Nancy. That's what's the negotiations are going to be going on right now. One of the people that voted other, one of the Republicans voted other simply because Jordan refused to admit that Biden won the presidential election. He is still denying that, and therefore, according to one of the Republicans that voted other, Jordan's not worthy to be Speaker of the House with his with his opinions, such as that one. So there's going to have to be some movement, significant movement. 17 out of 20 votes that are out there. There are 20 votes out there that voted other. Jordan has to get 17 of them. Jeffries only has to get 5. How moderate are those Republicans? How ready are they to move the nation forward? We will find out, because one way or the other, there are going to have to be concessions made. Again, either Jordan's going to have to give up some of the things that the far right base of the party just will not tolerate once it happens, or 5 of the Republicans will join with Jeffries, and those 5 will make sure their legislation, what they want for their individual districts or for them themselves, 5 of those people will get what they want, and we'll have a Democratic Speaker of the House with a Republican majority, which is it's just insane to even be talking about. Not as insane as them bringing Trump up as a unity candidate, which, if this goes 5 or 6 votes, Trump's name's going to get tossed out there by somebody. I'm just saying. So what we have now, we've got the wheeling and dealing time. We got the time when, well, hey, if you really want my vote, you know what you have to do, and how staunch are the positions of those 20, of the 20 that voted for other candidates that were not even nominated. I know Scalise got votes. I know McCarthy got votes, and honestly, I'm not sure who else got votes. I'm kind of watching this along with you and not really going back behind the scenes much to get other information. But now those 20 members have a bit of power. How are they going to play those power cards now? While we've got a couple of minutes, thank you for clicking on. Feel free to share this that we're doing this for those that don't watch mainstream or don't watch television, that get everything off the internet. We're giving you C-SPAN coverage without commercial interruption, and not that there's not a lag every once in a while, but I can't do anything about C-SPAN buffering. That's just kind of part of C-SPAN. And if you haven't been on the channel before, again, thanks for clicking on. We've been covering extensively covering world events, specifically the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and Asia Pacific and Africa. And last night's episode, Chris joined us again. He's been with us on Mondays, Wednesdays. He started out, he's with us like every few months. And as things have progressed and things really started to heat up in the Middle East, he's been with us 3 times a week. He won't be on tomorrow night. He'll be in transit. And we will be back. We'll have Chris back either Thursday or Friday of this week, depending on how things play out outside of Washington, D.C. The big main domino in the Middle East at the moment is the Israeli ground incursion into the Gaza Strip. That is the domino that, when and if that does indeed happen, will set in motion many other things. Now, we also heard last night from the Iraqi defense minister that a possible preemptive strike against Israel, striking Israel before they could go into Gaza, could be just hours away. That is probably a misinformation ploy put out there just to, put in the mind of the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, that they could be attacked. But I mean, that's always on the mind of Israel. Israel is basically surrounded by enemies, and most of the people in the countries surrounding Israel want Israel wiped off the face of the map. Now, Israel wants the Palestinians, many in Israel want the Palestinians wiped off the face of the map. So that should give everybody an indication that things are not going to just suddenly magically calm down in the Middle East, and especially with a visit from Joe Biden. I'm not sure Biden's the most persuasive. Actually, I am. I've met Biden. I've talked with Biden. Biden's not the most persuasive person on earth. I'll just put it that way. And I don't know what impact he's going to have. Let's listen back in now to C-SPAN. Again, they're calling the House into order.
The tellers agree,
and now we go back to C-SPAN.
The total number of votes cast is 432, of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 200 votes. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 212 votes. The Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 6 votes. Lee Zeldin of the state of New York has received 3. The Honorable Steve Scalise of the state of Louisiana has received 7. The Honorable Mike Garcia of the state of California has received 1. The Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1. The Honorable Tom Cole of the state of Oklahoma has received 1. The Honorable Thomas Massey of the state of Kentucky has received 1.
Oh, so Cole and Massey each got 1
having
vote.
received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, the Speaker has not been elected. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the Chair declares the House in recess subject to the call of the Chair.
Whoa, they're not taking a second vote. They're calling a recess. That means okay, that means that the House is in recess. Like I said, the wheeling and dealing has begun. I kind of expected a little bit of break between the first and second vote, and
The House is in recess,
that's where we're at.
subject to the call of the chair.
Here
We'll
are
see what
phone
happens
numbers if you
there's
want
another
to
round of voting
call
today.
in, or if you
But
want
the
to
official
text.
results, Jim Jordan in this first
the
round,
Republican
not
caucus.
close to winning the speakership with 200 votes. It was Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic nominee for Speaker, with 212. 20 Republicans voting for someone else besides Jim Jordan. We're going to take your phone calls, get your reaction to this first round of voting. Here's how you can join the conversation. Republicans 202-748-8921 is the number. Democrats 202-748-8920. All others 202-748-8922. You can also send us a text message 202-748-8903.
I'm getting information from some
from.
Republicans
Otherwise, we'll
that
look for the
they
social
are
media
really
posts
unhappy
on X
with,
and on
with
Facebook. You
what
can
is
find
going
us at
on
C-SPAN
in the
on
House of
both sites. As you're
Representatives at
calling
the
in,
moment.
want to show you the nomination
Again,
speech for Jim Jordan. It was Elise Stefanik of New York who offered the nomination
Yeah,
on the
we're
floor.
not gonna.
Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, Madam Clerk, on behalf of the House Republican Conference,
Now,
I rise
again,
today to nominate
C-SPAN
gentleman
gives
from
you a chance to
Ohio,
call
Jim
in.
Jordan, as Speaker of the People's House.
To call in if you want to comment on from the Republican side. Oh, well, all right. We just got cut off from C-SPAN. All right. Well, we will see what happens here. I'll see if they come back on. I'll tell you what we're at. We are at We're at 1 hour and 44 minutes of the broadcast time. I'll stay on for a few more minutes here to see if they do come back, and if not, I will monitor. And when they do come back for a second vote, we will come back live. GA, hello GA. GA asks, why doesn't he win with 212? You need 217. That is considered the majority out of a 435 member House with 433 voting. You would need 217 in order to win. So where they sit right now, Jeffries at 212. He needs to get 5 of those 20 Republicans that are dissatisfied. He needs to get them to come over, possibly offering them again the same thing that Jordan would be offering them positions on committees, offering them guarantees that legislature that they want to bring up, funding for pet projects, things like that. That's the kind of deals, despite what Lori Arnold says, that's the kind of deals that are actually now, not that what Lori Arnold commented isn't going to happen. I can't guarantee you that. A lot of deals get made in a lot of different ways in Washington D.C. So yeah, you got to get to 217. 217 is the number we look for when we do come back for a second round of voting, if that indeed does happen today. Again, Jordan not only didn't get to 217, he got beat, and got beat handily by Jeffries, which is politically, it's a major embarrassment. It just it basically drops the curtain and shows how impotent the Republican Party is in the House of Representatives, and it's also an embarrassment to the entire country when we realize the rest of the world is watching. And while we are supposed to be the most powerful nation in the world, we're coming off as just a dysfunctional third world country to the rest of the world. Um, and that's just how it is. So we need to get our crap together. Hopefully, 5 of those Republicans will understand that and join with Jeffries, and we put on a consolidated front because there are a lot of things going on, including potential for war, not only in war expanding in Eastern Europe, but war igniting and expanding in the Middle East, as well as the Asian Pacific with China and Taiwan, and with Kim Jong Un in North Korea threatening preemptive nuclear strikes. It's time for the United States to come together, even though it is behind sleepy Joe Biden. Um, the best thing for all of us is to start understanding that the whole rest of the world will eventually isolate us if we do not act. They're going to do it with oil. They're going to do it with economics, as well as spreading our military out so that it's so very thin. We are incredibly vulnerable at home. And all of those things are in play. If you haven't been watching the show, all of those things are in play, and we talk about those things. Um, okay, you guys are talking about lunch. Eating a leftover chicken sandwich now. Yeah, the stuffing was really good. The mashed potatoes were really good, um, according to Lori Arnold, anyway. No, the chicken was good. Um, the stuffing needed some more finesse. Uh, the breadcrumbs weren't uniformly cut. For those that don't know, Lori Arnold's sitting like 3 feet away from me at the moment, and flipping me off. Hey, you're welcome, Trish, Missy, Pop, GA, all of you. Thank you for being here. Um, I'm going to shut down for a bit here. We'll go offline and monitor. If a second vote is taken, we will be back on to cover it, and we'll stay on as long as necessary. If not, well, we will see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. for sit rep. Um, and if you know somebody that is, if you yourself are of the Muslim faith, if you yourself are of the Jewish faith, if you're from Israel, or if you happen to be from Palestine, um, or if you're live in Israel and you're Palestinian living in Israel, whatever the case may be, if you'd like to join the show, and we would love to hear your comments, your experiences. We want to know what it's really like on the ground, because we don't get that from mainstream media. We get what they want to tell us. We don't get that from government. We get what they want to tell us. So we like to get the information and decide for ourselves. We like to have things to think about, not be told what to think or how to think. So um, the way to contact me is by email, americandufus, AMERICANDUFUS at gmail.com. And to help support the show, Cash App, $ American Doofus, all one word. And thank you for those that have and continue to support what we try to do here. We'll be back very soon doing this all again, possibly anywhere from a few minutes to tomorrow night. So hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please hit the like on your way out if you would. Thank you. And thank you to everybody in chat. Thank you to everybody watching. Greatly appreciate it. Love you all. Hey, it's a dark world. As always, be a light.